This latest injury that kept him out for the last 3 months, what was it exactly?
It's always easier to show injury issues than to describe them. So you're looking at a skeleton, you're oriented to the right side. We're gonna zoom in on the knee area since that's the part that was injured. And you're looking here, the thigh bone, the shin bone, and in between is where the meniscus sits. So you have one on each side, and we're looking at the outside, which is the lateral aspect. So lateral meniscus, this is where the injury was. He had what they call a debridement. So where there was a tear, they go in and surgically clean that up, smooth it down, and then the rehab process begins. It's important to keep as much of the meniscus as possible because it's a fibrocartilage disc that helps protect the joint surfaces, and you want that for a long-term career.
All right, the original timeline for recovery was 6 to 8 weeks. It took a little bit longer than that. Should he be completely healed at this point?
I'm really glad you brought up the timeline because 6 to 8 weeks is the injury recovery component. But this longer than 3 months is because they've been wanting to address his mechanics. You've heard the terms kinetic chain. You've heard about Zion even saying that he needed to be not as stiff-legged. Let's take a look at him in action because you're going to see some points where we can stop the frame and actually show you about mechanics. It's hard to see in real time. He actually looks pretty good up there going up for a shot. And you think, well, he's a big guy, but there's not anything going on here. But when you slow it down, when you stop it, here's what you can see. When you're talking kinetic chain, it really means from the hip to the knee to the foot and ankle. What is the alignment of those things? Here, what should be his knee coming over the middle, kind of the second and third toe in line with his hip. Instead, what you see is his thigh bone is actually rotating in, the shin bone is collapsing in, and that creates a lot of force right at the knee. So you don't want to see that. So they work on things like in front of the mirror, practicing breakdowns of these movements, getting the alignment right to retrain him.
He's such a big guy. He's generating so much force. He's so powerful. They're going to work on those mechanics, but what kind of a challenge is it going to be keeping him healthy for the long term?
Well, it's taking away things like this. Here's another frame that you saw. Look how straight-legged he is, essentially, when he comes down from making a dunk. We've talked about his size. 6'6", right? 284. If you land straight-legged, that's a lot of force through here. And in this case, it causes him to lose his balance. You see him leaning over to his trunk. If his hip is just a little bit softer, again, they have to use things, they might even use video like this, Jeremy, to actually help him see where are these things happening, continue to work on the exercises that strengthen the hip and core and protect the knee. And rest him occasionally. You know, load management is a real thing. And with some of these guys, not playing as often can actually help preserve them across the course of their career as well.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports analysis and highlights, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.